So this exercise, I actually really enjoy this exercise. And this is a quick version. I did it on tracing paper to start because I knew I would run into problems and I just want to do it very quickly to see how it would turn out. But you can see here I've lined up a bunch of initially starting with squares that were eventually going to grow into cubes. And they are going to grow into cubes with one common vanishing point. So here are all of these cubes lined up. And you can see that all of the faces, these faces that represent the depth of the cube, they all extrude back to that vanishing point. And that vanishing point, its position has an impact on how I actually visualize the cube. So in this case, because the vanishing point is lower than this square right here, I will see the underside. On the other hand, because this vanishing point is above this cube, I will see on top of that cube. And likewise, because it's so far above these guys down here, I can see a lot of the bottom. So it's about positioning that and truly understanding the impact it has on what you're seeing. But the other part of this is learning how to draw a cube so that you don't end up with distortion. So this is that whole thing about being able to eyeball the cube. So when you go to draw a cube, and I'll just start one here, and I'm extruding out to its front face, but here's the front face of my cube. These are easy to draw. You know what a square looks like. We've been through that oodles of time now. But what you don't know is how deep it is. And this is the point that you have to guess. And this is the point where you have to develop your eye. For instance, if I decided that this was the back of my cube, well, hopefully you can see from here that that's feeling way too deep and nowhere even in terms of what this should be here. So this is where you make a guess and you get your best sense of what that cube, the depth will be. And the more you practice this, the better you will be able to develop your ability to draw in perspective in a way that truly represents what it is that you're trying to design. So here you can see here I'm just transferring this information over from the other cube, including its back. And when I vanish back on that one side, this now represents the depth of that cube. And yeah, it's still feeling like it is a cubic form. And that was all based on this very first assessment back here of how deep that cube will end up being. So that's what this exercise is also about, including line control and freehand drawing and all those good things.
Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating very simply, very rudimentary, the principles of the vanishing point for a one-point perspective. So if you look at the object in front of me, I basically have a cube and a stepped form sitting on top of one another, and I just see that front-on elevation. But as soon as I raise my eye level, all of a sudden I can see the tops of those objects. And you see that little white dot there? That is the vanishing point. And notice how all of those edges, all of those vertices converge toward that vanishing point. And as I move my vanishing point to the right, all of those lines still converge, which is really, really cool. So up it goes, and it's still following it. And as you can see, it's following the lens in the camera. I don't know if you can see my reflection there or not, but where you place your vanishing point absolutely affects the view of your object. So here's my vanishing point straight in the middle, and all of those lines, all of those vertices converge. Being a one-point perspective, this object is set up perpendicular to my view.